We spend so much of our lives trying to build a sanctuary. We put up walls, we lock our doors, we believe that the real dangers are somewhere else, far away.
But what happens when that's not true?
Exactly. What happens when you realize the biggest threat you face is just right next door, separated by nothing more than a wall or a bit of lawn?
That is the terrifying question we're getting into today. And these aren't hypotheticals. We're going to tell you 3 real, deeply disturbing stories.
These are true accounts of people who found out the person next door was hiding something violent or obsessive or just deeply, deeply sinister.
And just to be clear, we're not here today to do a big psychological breakdown.
No. Our goal is just to tell these stories, to really get into that feeling of dread, that slow creeping realization that something is terribly wrong.
We're going to start with a story about a college student, Garrett. He found out that sometimes, cheap housing comes with a price you could never imagine paying.
So Garrett's a sophomore in college, and he's desperate for a place to live. He ends up in this cheap co-op, and it's a weird mix of people. You have young students, some TAs, but then also these older permanent residents scattered around.
Right, a real mix.
And one of those older residents, a woman, immediately becomes this source of just pure anxiety for him. She's maybe in her late 50s, but she looks older. Graying hair, a very noticeable limp.
But it wasn't her appearance that was the problem.
Not at all. It was just her presence. It was overwhelming.
How so?
Well, the first few times we're in the big shared kitchen, everyone else cooking, talking, whatever. But she would just stand there.
Doing nothing.
Motionless. Silent. With this completely blank look on her face. She wasn't making food. She was just watching. And Garrett he was convinced she was watching him.
That's incredibly unsettling.
And that feeling went from just unsettling to genuinely frightening pretty quickly. He's in his room one night, late, and he happens to look out his window.
And she's there.
Down in the street, standing right in the middle of it, staring straight up at the house. It was cold out. She must have been freezing, but she didn't move. Just staring directly at his specific window.
So she knew which one was his. That's when it gets personal.
Yeah. And he did this thing. Maybe it was a mistake, but he sort of, gave a little wave, just a friendly gesture, trying to break the spell or something.
And her reaction was not good, I'm guessing.
It was the worst possible reaction. She didn't wave back. She didn't leave. She starts jumping up and down, like excitedly, just a few times.
Like she was thrilled he saw her.
Exactly. And then she just bolted, ran off. He just confirmed for her, yes, this is my room.
And what did the other people in the house say?
That's the chilling part. He asked around, and they were all just like, oh, her. She's always been here. Just ignore her.
They just normalized it.
Completely. But for Garrett, this was a line had been crossed. It escalated. He'd find her in the hallway outside his door, late at night, just standing in the dark.
Waiting.
And then his room key went missing. The locks were old, like from an old hotel, so losing that key was a huge deal.
A few nights later, things came to a head.
Yeah. Garrett wakes up. It's 2 a.m, dead silent. And he hears a sound, a soft, rhythmic bumping sound.
Oh, no.
And it's coming from inside his closet.
Inside his room.
Inside his locked room. He just lays there, heart pounding, listening to this sickening little bump.
Yeah.
Bump. Until he finally gets up the nerve to move.
What did he do?
He slides off the bed, grabs a lamp, anything he can use as a weapon, and in one single motion, he rips the closet door open.
And she's in there.
She was there, huddled inside. She was clutching a kitchen knife, and she had tied one of his own neckties around her neck.
Oh, my God.
Her eyes were wide, and the second the door opened, she lunged at him.
He said she was frail, but she fought with this incredible fury. He screamed, and thankfully, his housemates heard. They rushed in and helped hold her down until the police came.
And when the police searched her, they found his key.
They found the key on her. It turned out she was the property manager's sister. He'd been hiding her there to avoid getting her proper mental health care. Garrett was left just permanently shaken. He said he genuinely believes he could have died that night.
It's a terrifying story. But this kind of darkness, it isn't just found in cheap housing. Let's shift to a place that was supposed to be safe.
Yeah.
An affluent, quiet neighborhood.
Right, where the danger wasn't a stranger, but someone who was supposed to be the closest person to you.
This story comes from a woman who liked to watch her quiet street. A new neighbor moves in, a guy named Quinn. Mid-20s, drives a nice BMW, seems successful.
Well, the perfect neighbor, right?
On the surface, yeah.
Then his girlfriend, Ellie, starts showing up. Young, blonde, white convertible. The narrator sees her coming and going, often with her own key. Seems totally normal.
But then the cracks start to show.
Big time. The narrator is outside one day and hears this incredibly vicious argument. It's Ellie, just screaming at Quinn in the driveway, looking like she's about to physically attack him.
So a public scene, that's a huge red flag. It was. But then a weirder pattern started. Ellie began showing up at the house a lot, using her key. But only when Quinn wasn't home.
Wait, she was letting herself into his empty house repeatedly.
Exactly. And the truth behind that only came out later. Quinn eventually confessed to the neighbors that he'd tried to break up with her. She'd become incredibly possessive, demanding. The key she was using, she hadn't been given it.
She stole it.
She stole his spare and made a copy.
And this is where it gets so much worse. She wasn't just going in there to sit around. She was using that key to set up a hidden surveillance system.
Yes. She planted hidden cameras in his bedroom.
Wow.
Think about that. She was going into his home when he was out, not just to plant them, but to go back, check the footage, and change the batteries. She was watching his entire private life.
So that huge fight the neighbor saw, that was him trying to end it for good.
His last desperate attempt. But she already knew everything. And that surveillance led directly to the climax of the story.
The sirens.
One night, the whole street is just lit up with police cars and an ambulance. The neighbors watch as Ellie is led out in handcuffs.
And she was calm.
Completely. Just staring ahead with this cold, blank expression. A few moments later, Quinn is rushed out on a stretcher. The narrator just said he was a bloody mess.
The doctors later said he was an inch away from dying or needing major surgery. She had used what she learned from those cameras to plan a nearly fatal attack.
Quinn moved out almost right away. He was terrified. He told the neighbors he was worried she had friends just like her who knew where he lived.
That's a different kind of terror, when intimacy and trust are turned into a weapon like that.
Our last story is something else entirely. It's not about personal violence. It's about something industrial. Something hidden by a bizarre and elaborate lie.
This one starts with the narrator moving to a new place, a quiet, family-friendly suburb, low crime, supposed to be a fresh start.
But the house next door is huge, and it's unusually close. The owner is a young guy named Damon, claims to work in finance, lives alone.
And the narrator has a good view of the property.
A perfect view. He works from a third-floor office overlooking Damon's house. And he quickly realizes Damon lives like a ghost.
What do you mean?
His car is always there. He never leaves. He cancels every plan. No visitors, no food deliveries, nothing. Just this one guy in a massive silent house. It's just unnatural.
It's very strange.
And then one night, that silence is shattered. It's 2 a.m, a Wednesday, and the narrator is woken up by blasting music.
Yeah.
He looks out, sees 7 cars parked outside Damon's place.
A party.
A huge party, it sounds like. So he decides, okay, I've got to go over there and ask them to turn it down.
He walks over, knocks, but obviously no one can hear him over the noise. He tries the door handle.
And it's unlocked.
It just swings open.
The first thing he sees is a giant pile of shoes. At least 10 pairs, all stacked up in the foyer.
Okay, so there are people there.
But there aren't. He looks past the shoes, the living room, the kitchen. Completely empty. No coats, no drinks, no people. Nothing.
Wait, then what was the music?
That's the horrifying realization he has. It wasn't music. It was a recording. A sound loop of a party people laughing, yelling, glasses clinking, being played at an insane volume.
The whole party was fake.
The whole thing was a lie. A cover for something else. And against his better judgment, he follows a faint light coming from the basement.
Oh, this is a bad idea.
A terrible idea. As he gets to the basement stairs, he hears another sound underneath the fake party loop. A heavy, rhythmic, grinding noise, like a buzzsaw or some kind of industrial machine.
Okay, that's not good.
He creeps down and peeks through a crack in the basement door. He sees 3 men, much older than Damon. They're in heavy work clothes, goggles, thick rubber gloves, and they're wearing work boots.
So not the owners of the shoes upstairs.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
They're gathered around something he can't see, and this grinding sound just keeps going. But the final thing, the thing that tells him his life is in danger, is the smell.
What does it smell like?
Bleach, a powerful industrial-strength cleaning solution. That smell, plus the machinery, the fake party. He knows something awful is happening. And he needs to get out now. As he backs away, the light from the crack suddenly goes dim, like the door moved. He realizes he's been seen. He just sprints. out of the house, over his own fence, and locks himself inside.
And what happened at Damon's house?
Minutes later, he's watching from his window. 8 older men pour out of the house. Damon is not one of them. They're scanning the street, arguing, shoving each other. The second they're all out, the party recording just stops. The next morning, Damon, his car, all the other cars, gone.
And they never came back.
Never. But here's the most unnerving part of the entire story. When the narrator asked his other neighbors about the loud party at 2 a.m.,
Let me guess, nobody heard a thing.
not a single person heard anything. The sound was so perfectly contained, so localized, it was just meant to cover the noise from inside that house, not to alert the neighborhood. It was a masterful deception. These 3 stories. Garrett, Quinn, Damon. They all have this terrifying thread, right? It's about the incredible lengths people will go to in order to hide who they really are. Your home is supposed to be your safe space, but that's shattered when you find out who's really living next door.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If people can fake an entire party to hide what's in their basement or secretly install cameras in a bedroom, what lengths are your own seemingly normal neighbors going to right now to keep their secrets hidden?
If these terrifying tales have kept you on the edge of your seat, we invite you to stay tuned for more. Like, share, and subscribe to the Horror Docs channel so you don't miss any more horror stories and true crimes you shouldn't miss. See you next time.